Hey all, welcome back. In the previous video, we saw that how to configure the policies using policy class and the SDK library. And now we have created three tasks and we have checked how these tasks are uh, run by the agents and how our control plane that we had created with the policies have intercepted them. We also discussed a point that is there any other way other than creating the policies under the SDK library. So if someone has to just uh, use some configurable files like YAML rather than creating the policies with the SDK code with not much technical background, how can they do it? So SDK provides a option for that called policy loader, using which a simple YAML structured has a policy can be loaded into the SDK, and we can create into the control plane through SDK, and it can create the control plane and enforce these policies using policy gateway. So let us see that now. I'll just quickly configure these policies. So I've created a YAML. The classes, it's a policy loader. So under policies YAML, I have 4 different policies. The first one is this basically for FinOps uh, category, and the first policy is regulatory filing requires approval. So whenever there is some regulatory filing that has to be done, it needs a compliance officer approval or review. So that is the policy that has to be enforced. And the second one is any payments above 25K needs a treasury manager sign off. So below that it will be blocked and then escalated. Then there is another policy that is configured. Whatever changes that are getting deployed by the agents that could be in line with the compliance, that has to have a change ticket. Without a change ticket reference, any production deployment would be blocked. And next we have API export hard block. So this is similar to the one that we had seen earlier, and we have defined it again. None of the PI would be exported for the external destinations of the partners. So we are going to configure all these policies now. So the policies are created, and we are going to create a control plane and try to run some tasks. Okay, we have created a control plane with the YAML policies that we have defined here. And the name of the control plane that we have chosen for now is ch3 YAML policies. So the first task, what we are trying to do is we are spinning up an agent, and that agent will try to deploy an API gateway into the production. As you can see, there is no reference of any change tickets here. As expected, that is blocked by the policy gateway because there is no change ticket. It has thrown a governance violation, exception, or error. So we'll try to deploy the same as a part of task 2, that we'll use a change ticket here, which is an approved change ticket, and try to deploy the same gateway. Great. So as you can see that the deployment tool was accessed by the agent, and the control plane has allowed this because it could see the change ticket in between. This is amazing. So how are you feeling, guys? I hope you're having good time here. So please like and subscribe this channel. This is our proprietary SDK from Jiva AI Tech. Okay, going ahead, we'll create a task 3. So where we'll try to make a payment as well as try to export the PII data. So our expectation is, since the payment is more than 25,000, so this has to be escalated. But the second part of the request, where we are trying to export a PII data for the external destination, has to be blocked. So as you can see, there are two actions here that the SDK or the control plane has to perform. One, it has to escalate for this payment that has been requested by the agent, and then it has to block the action of PII export, PII data export to the external destination. So let's try to run this and see. Excellent, as expected. There is a payment threshold for which it has been blocked. Let's tweak this request a bit. So what I'll do is, for task 3, instead of 40,000, let me try to make 4,000 and see how our control plane will behave in this case. Excellent. So as you can see, the first task is anyway executed because it is less than the threshold amount. But we can see the governance gateway. It has blocked for PI export hard block. Let's go back and revert this. Let me make it 40K. So the first policy is that it has blocked the payment at the very first. So the governance error has happened for the very first action. It has not even gone to the second one. So this is quite configurable, where you can pick both the cases separately, like to escalate the payment as well as to block the external PI separately, but the end action is this action will be blocked. Since there is a single action that is being performed by the agent with the two different tools, the very first action to the tool itself will be blocked for the payment tool, and for the data fetch tool, it will not even run through the data fetch tool, but the configuration can be done such a way that both the cases can be handled separately. So this is the capability of the SDK. So this, we have seen how we can configure the policies through YAML. Thanks for watching this video. In the next video, let's try to discuss on customizing the risk engine, because when there is in the risk engine, we calculate the risk based on the financial impact, data sensitivity, regulatory exposure, and policy violation probability, and we have certain weightages for all of these, and all of these weights add to 1, and we are going to fractionize it and use these weights. So we'll see how to configure these weights. For example, in certain companies, data sensitivity may not have more weightage compared to the regulatory exposure. And certain companies or departments' financial impact will have more weightage compared to the data sensitivity. So in those cases, how can we configure the control plane using this SDK and vary the risk uh, weightages so that when they create the risk engine, they can modify these weightages and create the risk engine that is more suitable for a department's or an organization's or an agent's uh, control plane. So this is what we are going to see in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. Stay with us. Thank you very much.